Hello, word nerds. This is the dictionary. This person is Spencer Parks. How are you doing? Welcome to episode F26. Okay, we got some fun words today. Here we go. I thought I was going to say something, but I guess I wasn't going to say anything, so we will start with the first word, which is fanfaronade or fanfaronade. Fanfaronade. I think that's fine. Fanfaronade. Noun from 1652. It's just empty boasting, and the synonym is bluster. So what is empty boasting? Is this did I say boasting? I combined bluster and boasting and came up with bloasting. Oh, I feel so bloated. I did just eat some food, some very tasty food. Empty boasting, is that when you're gloating, you're talking about how great you are, but there's nothing there. Is it fake? What is it? Why is it empty? This is interesting. Let's see. Oh, yes. You are bragging because this is from the Spanish word fanfarón, which means braggart. That's what it is. Empty. Why didn't they say empty bragging instead of empty boasting? But why is it empty? What's empty about it? Fanfaronade or fanfaronade. Okay. My sound effect, I'm going to go... The next word is fan fiction. 2 words. Noun from way back in 1944. Maybe the first fan fictions. I'm thinking of the year. Something to do with Hitler. Maybe Hitler and, was it FDR, the American president? Maybe they were having a little romance on the side. That would be some interesting fan fiction. This is stories involving popular fictional characters that are written by fans and often posted on the internet. And that definition has probably changed since 1944. Ooh, that big book I have over here, right there, that is from 1946. So I wonder if that's in the book. Oh, I'm so tempted. Maybe later, if I think of it, I will go grab that and look. This is called also fanfic. That's it, because nobody has time to say fan fiction. We say fanfic. But it says it's involving popular fictional characters, but I don't think it's always fictional characters. I would assume maybe if they're real people, maybe there's a legal problem with that. I don't know. Fan fiction. I've never written fan fiction. I've never read fan fiction. There's too much out there to read. People are constantly writing fan fiction about various fictional characters, and I can't keep up. Not that I am trying. What's her name? Tina from Bob's Burgers. She writes, I guess you would call it fan fiction about zombies and butts. Next is fanfold, 1 word, noun from 1925. This is paper made from a web, and folded like a fan lengthwise and sometimes crosswise. An example of this would be business forms or tape. So the business forms or the tape, that's the paper. Made from a web and folded like a fan. So is this literally you just take paper and fold it back and forth and then you make a fan? Oh, maybe this is, I wonder if this is like there's those document folders that have the edges of them are that sort of fanned back and forth. Accordion is not, but I don't know if that's it. Fanfold is also a transitive verb. Next is fang. I've got a fang. Noun from 1555, number 1A. A long, sharp tooth. As 1A1, this is the subdefinition, one by which an animal's prey is seized and held or torn. So there's big old cats out there, big old predatory cats. The lions and the tigers and the bears, they're not cats, but they have fangs. Those big canine teeth that stick up, and they use them to grab their prey, bite down on the thing. I guess, yeah, a snake, they got real big fangs. Lots of animals have these, and they use them to sink into the flesh of the thing that they are biting, and they're so big and sharp that this thing will probably not be able to get away. That is the point of the fang. Let's see. Yep, they will rip their flesh. Okay, we don't need to talk about that anymore. 1A2. One of the long, hollow, or grooved and often erectile teeth of a venomous snake. There we go. Very specifically, we're talking about snakes now. And yeah, it's hollow because the venom comes through the tooth. They shoot it from glands in their face through the tooth. So they sink their fangs into the thing, and then they squirt the venom into the person, into the thing, the prey, whatever it is. Long, hollow, grooved. I guess in some of them have a groove where the venom probably goes through instead of hollowness. Erectile teeth. I think that means that they're not always out. They're like maybe sunken in kind of, and then when they open their mouth, then the teeth come out as well. Okay, we are now on 1B. One of the chelicerae of a spider, at the tip of which a poison gland opens. Ooh, I don't know the word chelicerae, but it's part of a spider, so I guess those are the fangs of a spider. But they have the more scientific name, chelicerae. And it's interesting. It says at the tip there is a poison gland. It seems kind of weird to have a gland at the end of a tooth, or whatever it would be called on a spider. Let's see. Let's look up spider fang gland, because I'm curious. Like maybe it's a tiny little thing in there. Oh, well, here's the chelicerae. Is that chelicerae? They have different types of these fangs, and let's search for gland. Find gland for me. Some chelicerae, some of those found on nearly all spiders, are hollow and contain venom glands used to inject venom into prey or a perceived threat. I kind of want to see a picture of where this gland is exactly. Is this the black? Too many words and things to check out. But ooh, yes, those are some sharp little pointy things. Chelicerae, that is a good word to know. All right, number 2. The root of a tooth or one of the processes or prongs into which a root divides. So when you pull out your tooth, there's these different points. That's the root of the tooth. And I guess they call those fangs because maybe they kind of look like fangs, very dull, short fangs, or one of the processes or prongs into which a root divides. Yeah, that must be it. Your fang also has more fangs in the root. 3, a projecting tooth or prong. Any sort of tooth or prong that's sticking out of a thing is a fang. Fang. I've got a fang. Fanged with an ED. That is an adjective. This is a Middle English word. I guess it hasn't changed. And it means that which is taken. From Old English, akin to the Old High German fang, or maybe they said fang, which means seizure. Also from Old English von, which means to seize. And there's more at the word packed. So I guess this seems like it's just all about the idea of the fangs from an animal or a thing go into another thing, and they have seized it, they have grabbed it, and that's where the word comes from. Fang. The fangs are seizing. The fangs are fanging. I have seized the air. The next word is fang with a capital F. Also fawn, F-A-N, fawn or fan. And it is a noun from 1861. Number 1, a member of a Bantu-speaking people of northern Gabon, mainland Equatorial Guinea, and southern Cameroon. And I believe those are all in Africa. So the people are the Fang or Fang, and they speak Bantu. And number 2, I'm guessing this is similar, the language of the Fang people. Okay, so they speak Bantu, but they also speak Fang? Is Bantu a type of Fang language, or is it the other way around? The Fang speak Fang. I think Fang makes more sense, but I don't know how they pronounce it. Maybe they say Fang, I don't know. Doesn't say where the word comes from, so it's just their own word that they made up. Next is fangirl, although if we use the Fang pronunciation, it would be fangirl. Fang IRL, in real life, an in real life fang. Okay, noun from 1934. Now, if we go back to fanboy, that was from 1919, so girls weren't fans of anything for another 15 years. This is a girl or woman who is an extremely or overly enthusiastic fan of someone or something. And fanboy says the same thing. It's a boy or a man opposed to a fangirl, which is a girl or a woman, or you can just use either one of these for yourself. Sometimes I fanboy and sometimes I fangirl. Next is fanjet, 2 words with a hyphen. This is a noun from 1962. It is a jet engine having a fan that operates in a duct and draws in extra air whose compression and expulsion provide extra thrust. Also, an airplane powered by a fan jet engine. So, what? I need to reread it. It's having a fan that operates in a duct and draws an end. It's just a fan in a jet. It's a type of a jet engine that has a fan in it, which is going to make it do a better job and give it more thrust. Fan letter, noun from 1932. A letter sent to a public figure by an admirer. Maybe the fan letter was sent by a fangirl because they are a fanatic about someone they fancy. Ooh. I don't think I've ever written any fan letters. Back in the day, it was a different kind of thing. People could get the famous person's address or maybe their agent's address or something. It was a lot easier to get letters to people. And because there was no internet and because that wasn't a terribly common thing that they would get, it was, they would get a lot of these, but it wasn't like, I'm sure the comments and tags and stuff that they get these days, they would be able, a lot of them, to respond or send a signed photograph or something like that. And so, the fan letter is not really a thing as much these days. I think can we go back? Can we go back to the days of fan letters? I will only accept a fan letter if you handwrite it and send it to my P.O. box. Otherwise, I will not recognize your existence whatsoever. Fanlight, 1 word, noun from 1819. A semicircular window with radiating bars like the ribs of a fan that is placed over a door or window. And there is a picture of a fan light. So all you have to do, picture in your mind, fancy it in your head. There is a door, and then above the door, from one side, there is an arc that goes around. It's a half circle, and then it lands on the other side of the door. So it's a half circle above the door, and it's a window. And in this picture specifically, there is a, there's these bars that mention these bars. They radiate from the center. So If here's the door, here, maybe my phone is the door. And then, and then you get to see, no, we'll flip it around. And then there are these bars that stick out from the edge, from the center point to the edge, and then there are these panes of glass that are like pizza pie shape. Ooh, pizza pie glass. And that's a fan light because it lets in light, and it's shaped like a fan. And it's a window, and I don't have one of these. Makes me sad. Fan mail. 2 words, noun from 1924. This is mail, M-A-I-L, because the synonym is fan letters, plural. So if somebody is getting a lot of letters from their fans, then they are getting fan mail. There's that scene at the end of Miracle on 34th Street when they dump out all of the fan mail to Santa. And it's a great scene. And yeah, again, same. So fan mail is 1924. Fan letter is 8 years later. But you can't have fan mail without at least 2 fan letters. Why did it not get invented until afterwards? Fan mail. Nobody sends me any fan mail. Fanny. Fanny. Noun from circa 1840. Number 1, this is British slang. This is one that I don't think a lot of people know of, except, of course, the British people and then a handful of other people. But it's not where the American brain typically goes to. It's interesting that they put this one first. The synonym, the British slang synonym for the word fanny is vulva. Yes. It is the front part of the woman's genital private region. But number 2, the synonym is buttocks. Usually, I think Americans think of fanny as the butt, the backside, and it seems like, now why doesn't that one say slang though? But then the British people think of the front side as the fanny. And it makes me wonder, how did that happen? Well, this etymology says, and I don't know if this is true, but it says it is perhaps from Fanny, which is the nickname of Francis. But I feel like that could be a male or female name. Probably doesn't matter. So how did it become buttocks or vulva? Either one. What? I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to look up etymology of this word and is there more information? It's a funny one. There's a great classic old comedy song. Everybody wants to touch my fanny. Everybody wants to kiss my fanny. And it was played on Dr. Demento a lot. He may have done his own version. I know he did his own version of the shaving cream song. But Fanny is a funny song. And I think that one was written talking about the backside. But it's extra funny if you think about it as the front side. Fanny. Okay, that's that one. Next is fanny pack. 2 words. Front or back, up to you. Noun from 1967. This is a pack that straps to the waist and is used for carrying personal articles. That's it. Lots of fanny pack. It's a funny thing, isn't it? They were invented, 1967, I guess, but they got real big and popular in the 80s and 90s, and then they went away, and I think people made fun of people for wearing fanny packs. But they're coming back. The fanny packs are coming back. You better watch out. They're coming to get you. And Flulaborg, the funny German comedian, musician, actor, is a big fan of fanny pack. He fancies fanny packs, and I sure would love to reach out to him and see if he can record a little thing talking about fanny packs. I would love that so much. I'll put it in here somewhere if he does. He probably won't. But yeah, you can get them in all different styles. You put your personal articles in there, your lip gloss, your whatever you got, you could put it in your fanny pack. It's just right there. Maybe, so I have this like shoulder bag, but maybe I should get a fanny pack as well. And then maybe what other sort of doodads and bags can I have? I just want all of them all at the same time. Next is fantabulous. This word is fantabulous. It is an adjective from 1957. It is slang, okay, and it means marvelously good. How long did it take them to write that one? How did they come up with the word marvelously? What other words could have gone there? Marvelously good is fantabulous. I love that these weird combined words are in here because it's a blend of fantastic and fabulous, if you couldn't tell. I made up a combined word like this. I combined ginormous, which I think is already a combination. Ginormous is gigantic and enormous, and then I also combined it with humongous, I think, and it became ginomungous. I guess you don't really need the other part. Okay. Fantabulous is great. It's marvelously good. Fantail. One word. Tail is Tail. Noun from 1728. Number 1. A fan-shaped tail or end. Would this be like the peacock tail? Do they have a fan tail? That would make sense. So other animals have tails that fan out like a fan, but I don't know if that's what we're talking about. 2. A domestic pigeon having a broad rounded tail, often with 30 or 40 feathers. I don't understand why they had to put the specific amount of feathers in there, but maybe it has something to do with, I don't know. I don't know. So you call that pigeon the fantail because their tail is probably like a fan. 3. An architectural part resembling a fan. And it doesn't give an example of what type of architectural thing this is. Where on the building is this? Maybe it's in the back because it's a fantail. It's on the butt of the building. The building butt. The fanny of the building fanny. Number 4, a counter or after, what? A counter or after overhang of a ship shaped like a duck's bill. It's a counter or after, and aft is probably on the back, on the aft of the ship. An after overhang of a ship. So it's the part that goes, it's just on the edge or the back edge of a ship, and it looks like a duck's bill, which I guess kind of maybe fans out a little bit. But it's a duck's bill is not that, maybe it's the fan, which is the duck's bill, on the tail, which is probably the back of the boat, probably. Okay. Fantan. 2 words with a hyphen. I don't know what it is, but it's fun to say. Fantan. Noun from 1878. Number 1, a Chinese gambling game in which the banker divides a pile of objects as beans into 4s, and players bet on what number will be left at the end of the count. Oh, this sounds fun. I feel like maybe I've heard of this. So you just have a pile of beans, and you don't know what number, how many beans there are, how many beans in the basket. And so so if you have 16 beans, you will make 4 piles of 4 beans. And then, so the number left over is 0 in that context, right? And the banker divides a pile of objects into 4s, and players bet on what number will be left at the end of the count. And so beforehand, I guess, they have to bet. I don't know if they can bet during the count. And then they're like, oh, I think there's going to be, it's divisible by 4. There's not going to be any beans left. So I bet $100 or whatever money we're talking about that there's going to be 0. And then somebody else like, I think there's going to be 1 bean left. Is there any skill to this? How big of a pile of beans do they start with? How many piles of 4 do they end up having? This is fascinating. Who invented this? Obviously some Chinese person, probably. There was like, okay, we're bored. We got a pile of beans. I know. I'm going to make piles of 4, and then you guys have to guess how many beans will be left over after the pile of 4. Do people try it with piles of 5, piles of 3, piles of 18? Probably not. Number 2, a card game in which players must build in sequence upon 7s and attempt to be the first one out of cards. Must build in sequence upon 7s. I don't know what that means exactly. Are they building up to 7? Are they starting at 7, then going up from there? Are they going 1, 7? No, I don't know. To be the first one out of cards. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for Fantan, both the bean game and the card game, and then you can start playing these with your friends and tell me how it goes. Okay, yes, this is a Chinese word. It says Guangdong, which I think is maybe a region of China or a specific dialect or something of Chinese. And their word, Fantan, Fantan, they spell it differently, obviously, because they have characters and not letters. But what does that mean? It doesn't say what Fantan means in English. I want to know these things. I'm biting you with my fangs. Do I have anything here I can bite with my fangs? I don't have any fangs. The last word is fantasia or fantasia. Fantasia. Noun from 1724. Number 1, a free, usually instrumental composition, not in strict form. So I guess that's why they use the word free there. It's not like you had to pay for it. It's free because there's no strict form. It's just like a jam band thing, maybe. Probably not. Instrumental composition. That's a fantasia. 2a. A work as a poem or play in which the author's fancy roves unrestricted. We are combining poem and fancy, just like we did in the previous episode. There was something about poets and fancy and stuff. And so the poem, the author's fancy roves unrestricted. They're like, I'm going to go talk about this thing because this is what's taking my fancy. But now I'm sort of done with that. And this other thing is like, oh, what's that over there? That's taking my fancy away. I'm really interested by that thing. And it's all very impulsive. And then we're just going to go down this way. And that's taking my fancy now, too. And that is a fantasia. 2b. Something possessing grotesque, bizarre, or unreal qualities. What could that be? There's no example. It doesn't say. But if it's grotesque, bizarre, or if it has grotesque qualities, bizarre qualities, or unreal qualities, you can call it a fantasia. Why? Because this word is Italian. Fantasia, which literally means fancy. There's a fancy. From Latin fantasia, and there's more at the word fancy. Oh, yes, there is more at the word fancy, because that's from 2 episodes ago. 1 episode ago. Anything else about Fantasia? Well, of course, there is that Disney cartoon movie from, I want to say, the 1940s, and it... Why was it a fantasia? Because there was music and art, and it just sort of went from one thing to another thing to another thing. There was no overarching story, and so that's maybe this second one, 2A. It just sort of roves unrestricted. There's no strict form. Must be that. I think did my dad say that when he saw it, maybe they released it in the theaters, re-released it when he was a kid or something, and he was scared of a couple of scenes, I think. And, there's some problematic stuff in that movie because it's old, and lots of old things are problematic. But then they did Fantasia 2000, which I don't know if I saw the whole thing. But it was just another idea, another similar thing with updated music and artistry and animation. And I don't remember all what was in there, but it's been God, it's probably been like 50 or 60 years between those two. So maybe in like another 30 years, we should have Fantasia 2050, 2040, something like that. Maybe 2050. That would be a good even number. And we can have another Fantasia and have lots of hip hop music and people like that. Okay. I am going to pick a word of the episode now. Today we had fanfaronade, or fanfaronade, that's empty boasting, fanfiction, fanfold, fang, fangirl, fanjet, fanletter, fanlight, fanmail, fanny, fanny pack, fantabulous, fantail, fantan, and fantasia. A few of these I like. I like a few of these. I'm tempted, but I think just because it's a fun word to say, I'm going to pick fantabulous as the word of the episode. Other contenders would be Fantan, the games, fan letter, fan mail, because I think that you should send me some fan mail. Please and thank you. Fantabulous, fantabulous. This show is so fantabulous. It's marvelously good and fantabulous. Woo-wee! Yeah. Okay, I would like to now tell you about another movie that I watched. So let's go find that list. Scroll, here we go. Scroll, here we go. We're scrolling. Kneecap. This was, I think the last movie I told you about was Trap. And we saw that in the morning. This was like a Saturday. And then afterwards we were like, let's go see Kneecap. And it is about, didn't even know this, true story by the real guys about this Irish political rap group. And it was super fascinating. And I'm sure it's somewhat fictionalized, but during the credits you learn that like, no, this is real. This is all real. And really fascinating story. Really kind of curious to know more about these guys. And so, yeah, I think their group was called Kneecap. Now I can't even remember. And then afterwards we were like, well, let's go see another movie. So we ended up seeing 3 movies in the theater that day. And I will tell you about that one in the next episode. Okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out this show. I surely do appreciate it. And I would really appreciate it if, in addition to the fan mail that you send me, that you also share this and tell other people that they should also check out this show on the podcast places and also the place of YouTube that we all bow down to. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, have a fantabulous day. This has been Spencer dispensing information from his fanny pack.